Hello, exceptional students of Mrs. Whitney's. Welcome to Unit 10.2, the lesson. So, probability. We've talked about how we can calculate what the events are and the number of events when we're talking about doing experiments, but now let's talk about the probability of those happening. So the probability of an event is the number that measures the likelihood that that event will occur. Probabilities are between 0 and 1, although you guys like to think of them as percentages, and I'll get there in a second, including 0 and 1. The diagram relates likelihoods and probabilities below. So something that is equally likely to happen, so something that's impossible to happen. So let's just say my ability to sprout wings and fly off screen. So that's going to be impossible. So my probability is 0, which means that it is 0% that that will happen. Something that's certain to happen, like I'm going to be in school tomorrow, is going to be a probability of 1, and we like to think of that as 100%. And I know when we were doing percentages in the previous unit, some of you were saying, well, I didn't realize that you could have a percentage over 100. You can, but you can't have it when we're talking about probability, because remember, probability is between 0 and 1. 1 being 100%. So something that's certain to happen is 100%. Something that's equally likely to happen or not happen, so a 50-50 shot, think about heads or tails on a coin, they're both equally likely to happen, so it's 1/2 or 50%. Unlikely is about 25%, and likely is about 75%. So let's talk about this a little bit. So describing the likelihood of an event, and again, I don't know what happened to all of my cute little pictures, but they disappeared. So there is an 80% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Describe the likelihood of the event. Well, it's 80%, right? So the likelihood of it happening is 80%. And if I go back and look at that little chart, it's somewhere around 75%, so it's likely that we're going to have a thunderstorm tomorrow. Not really, but in case that was the forecast. So it is likely to happen. Not a hard concept. Okay, so now let's find out the probability of the event. So the probability of event is a ratio. It is we say the P of event, so the probability of something happening, is equal to the number of favorable outcomes, so the number of times that you want it to happen, over the number of possible outcomes. All right, so let's think about this in an example so we can talk about it. So a number cube. Again, I don't know what happened to my number cube, but there's supposed to be one right here. A little cube, numbered each side from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you're going to roll a number cube and want to know what the probability of rolling an odd number, so that we know that the P of the event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. So if you remember from the previous thing, so probability of odd, so the previous section we talked about the number of events. So if we're talking about the probability of rolling an odd number, we know that the numbers that we can roll that are odd are 1, 3, and 5. So the number of favorable outcomes is 3. The total number of outcomes, 1 through 6, is 6. So I can simplify that to be 1/2. And we know that 1/2 is 50%. I can figure that out by dividing it. Take a calculator. 1 divided by 2 is 5/10. Multiply it by 100 and we get 50%. All right, let's try another one of these. So using probability. So the probability that you randomly draw a short straw from the group of 40 straws is 3/20. So how many short straws are there? Well, we know that the probability is the number of short straws. So number of short straws divided by the number of total straws. And we know that the probability is 3/20. So 3/20. And in the case of if we had a group of 40 straws, that's the total number of straws, and we don't know what that would be. So this goes back to proportions. So I know that in order to get to 40, I have to multiply 20 by 2 and multiply 6 by 2. So x has to equal 6. I could also cross multiply, but that's kind of an easy one to say that I can multiply by 2. So I know that my answer is B, 6. So thanks for watching.